Okay, so in the previous video, we looked at the multipurpose projects, the dams, the pros of it, the cons of it, the challenges associated with them. Let's now look at rainwater harvesting in this one. So, many thought that given the disadvantages and rising resistance against multipurpose projects, water harvesting system was a viable alternative, both socio-economically and environmentally. Now, in ancient India, along with the sophisticated hydraulic structures, there existed an extraordinary tradition of water harvesting system. This might be a good research project for you guys, mostly researching into the different water harvesting systems in the ancient India. And you might also want to look at different angles, like how did it differ by regions? What were the designs? What were they made of and all? Right, so people had in-depth knowledge of rainfall regimes and soil types and developed wide-ranging techniques to harvest rainwater, groundwater, river water and flood water in keeping with the local ecological conditions and their water needs. In hill and mountainous regions, so this is one type, as you can see, people build diversion channels like the gulls or the culls of the western Himalayas for the agriculture. Rooftop, this is another type, right? Rooftop rainwater harvesting was commonly practiced to store drinking water, particularly in Rajasthan. In the floodplains of Bengal, people, so this is the third type of region, right? So you can see why in Rajasthan people wanted to store drinking water. It's less rainfall, right? Now, there are areas where it floods, prone to more flooding, like Bengal. People developed inundation channels to irrigate their fields, so they really build channels so that they can use the flood water to irrigate the fields. Now and then, in the arid and the semi-arid regions, agricultural fields were converted into rain-fed storage structures that allowed the water to stand and moisten the soil, like the khadins in Jaisalmer and johards in other parts of Rajasthan. So as you can see how the region and the soil structure and the soil and of course the local rainfall regime kind of leads to impacts the strategy that the people were using or are using for rainwater harvesting and for putting uses through the rainwater. Now, here are examples of roof raintop water harvesting. In the first one, you can actually access to the rainwater. So the rainwater falls here, it's collected and it goes into the table, right? So it from the roof, it is kind of it goes into the ground, and then you can just collect it back through the hand pump. Okay, and then there is also another way where you can have the recharge of the water through an abandoned well that was dug, right? So you just let all the water kind of go into the well, and then you can just take it back from it. So the basic idea here is that the rooftop rainwater is collected using a PVC type, and it is filtered using sands and bricks. Okay, the underground pipe takes the water to the sump for immediate usage. So you could also have an inside sump, and excess water from the sump is taken to the well. Water from the well recharges the underground water, and you can take the water from the well, which is later as needed. Now, in the semi arid and the arid regions of Rajasthan, particularly in Bikaner, Falodi, and Barmer, almost all the houses traditionally had underground tanks or tankas for storing drinking water. The tanks could be as large as a big room. One household in Falodi had a tank that was 6.1 meters deep, 4.27 meters long, and 2.44 meters wide. The tankas were a part of a well developed rooftop rainwater harvesting system and were built inside the main house or the courtyard. They were connected to the sloping roofs of the houses. So you can see that the roofs were sloped so that water can flow. Right? Rain falling on the rooftops would travel down the pipe and was stored in these underground tankas. The first spell of rain was usually not collected, as this would clean the roofs and the pipes. The rainwater from the subsequent showers was then collected. The rainwater can be stored in the tankas till the next rainfall, making it an extremely reliable source of drinking water when all the other sources were dried up. particularly in the summers. Now, rainwater in, or it's called Palar Pani, as commonly referred to in these parts, is considered the purest form of natural water. Many houses constructed underground rooms adjoining the tanka, excuse me, to beat the summer heat, as it would keep the room cool. Now, here's an interesting fact that rooftop rainwater harvesting is most common practice in Shillong, Meghalaya. And this is interesting because Cherrapunji and Moss Saran, I do not know how to pronounce this, situated at a distance of 55 km from Shillong, received the highest rainfall in the world. Yet the state capital Shillong faces acute shortage of water. Nearly every household in the city has a rooftop rainwater harvesting structure, and nearly 15 to 25% of the total water requirement for the household comes from rooftop water harvesting. Now, fortunately, in many parts of rural and urban India, rooftop rainwater harvesting is being successfully adopted to store and conserve water. So, this is the main thing, is that it's not just now rural parts, but even urban parts are taking getting on board with this. In Gendathur, a remote backward village in Mysuru, Karnataka, villagers have installed in their households rooftop rainwater harvesting system to meet their needs. Nearly 200 households have installed this system, and the village has earned the rare distinction of being rich in rainwater. Now, if you see figure 3.6, which is this over here, for a better understanding of the rooftop rainwater harvesting system which is adapted here. Gendathur receives an annual precipitation of 1000 millimeter with about 80% of collection efficiency and about 10 fillings. Every house can collect and use about 50,000 liters of water annually. From the 200 houses, the net amount of rainwater harvested annually amounts to about 100,000 liters. Now, the rooftop harvesting was common across the towns and villages of Thar. So, rainwater that falls on the sloping roofs of the houses is taken through a pipe into underground tanka, that is, the circular holes in the ground, built in the main house or in the courtyard. The picture above shows a water being taken from a neighbor's roof through the long pipe. Here, from the neighbor's rooftop, has been used for collection of rainwater. The picture shows a hole through which rainwater flows down into an underground tanka here. Now, an interesting fact here. So, Tamil Nadu is the first state in India which has made rooftop rainwater harvesting structure compulsory to all the houses across the state. There are legal provisions to punish the defaulters. Now let us look at this bamboo drip irrigation system which is there in Meghalaya. So in Meghalaya, a 200-year-old system of tapping stream and spring water by using bamboo pipes is prevalent. About 18 to 20 liters of water enters the bamboo pipe system, gets transported over hundreds of meters and finally reduced to 20 to 80 drops per minute at the site of the plant. Now you can see this picture. So let's look at this picture one here. Bamboo pipes are used to divert the perennial springs. Perennial means that flow all throughout the year on the hilltops to the lower reaches by gravity. So no need of electricity. Now if you look at the pictures 2 and 3, these are all the channel sections that are made of bamboo. They divert the water to the plant site where it is distributed into branches and then again made and laid out with different forms of bamboo pipes. The flow of water into pipes is controlled by manipulating the pipe positions by looking at their what you call is the slope. Now, if the pipes pass a road, they are taken high above the land. And then you can see these two pictures. So, reduced channel sections and diversion units are used at this last stage of water application. The last channel section enables the water to be dropped near the roots of the plant. So that concludes our chapter. And in this, we had a look at the rainwater harvesting. We looked at how the different regions have been adopting rainwater, not just in the past but also in the current times. Some of the benefits of it, and because it is like one of the reasons why people are looking into the rainwater harvesting, that it is considered as an alternative and a viable alternative to, let's say, building dams, and trying to avoid all the issues that come with those big multi-purpose projects. So, having concluded that chapter, I hope that you are in a much better position to be able to answer all these questions, which we already, discussed before, or we reviewed before starting this chapter. Okay, so we will conclude this video here.